Hi, I'm Cameron Bonsey. I'm the VP of Marketing with Coast of Maine Brands, and I'm here with Len Schroeder, who is the owner of Bloomers Home and Garden. He's also the host of Bloomers in the Garden, which can be heard from Delaware to Connecticut. And Len, I've known you since somewhere around 2007.
It's been that long.
Yeah, it's been a long time. You can tell by my gray hair. But the piece, there's a couple of things here. Thank you for joining us as we try to create some content with Coast of Maine. We certainly want to give back to the local garden centers that support our business, and you are also a host, so we're actually helping to sponsor your show, so it's a nice partnership.
Thank you.
How long have you been an independent garden center owner?
Generationally, I'm third generation that have owned an independent garden center. That my family garden center is up in North Jersey. And when there was lots of family, let's just say, and my wife and I decided, okay, we'll leave. And we decided to go out on our own in 1988. So it's been a long time. So I have the history.
You've seen a lot, and the big box stores certainly weren't a huge factor back when you started.
No.
And you got
Channel and Rickles.
Yeah,
Channel and Rickles was about it.
It's an amazing process. As our audience looks and sees you standing behind the red and white and yellow bags. That's a huge part of being an independent garden center right there. That is the Bumper Crop brand of soils, and you are a Master Nursery garden center. How long have you been a Master Nursery?
Gosh, how long ago was it? It was John Johnson from Commerce approached me. And so I don't even know what year it is. It's been so long. And he explained there's this new group and it's from the West Coast and they have this product called Bumper Crop. And it's like, oh, that sounds great. Anything else? And it was centralized billing and there was rebates. And, you know, that back then it was, Mel said, you know, you're the owner. And honestly, we are. It's, we do have say, it's a member run board. And that, it's took a little bit of getting used to the West Coast and East Coast. It's like you couldn't get all the product then, but now there's distribution through a lot of different distributors, but also through a lot of the products are now manufactured here, like Coast of Maine manufacturing Bumper Crop and Gardener's Gold.
So we, you know, the Bumper Crop and Gardener's Zone, obviously Coast of Maine is known for some of the soils, like the kids holding soils behind me, but we have a partnership with Master Nursery. Oops, it flipped. That's okay.
Houston, we have a problem.
It's okay though. I can see it.
Yeah, you can see it all right.
I can still see it all right. You can go back. It's okay.
Everyone, that's just to make sure you're all awake.
Yeah, no, that worked. That was like a special effect on our show. So so with the Bumper Crop, what I love about the Bumper Crop is that you are a Master Nursery. It is your soil. We did a lot of marketing of it, but now it's branded for you. And talk about the response of the customers and the fact that you as a garden center are in control of your own brand.
Well, it's essential because we can sell it and introduce new gardeners to it where they're used to, let's just say, the green and gold bag, and that where we explain what the difference is and how soil science works and how important it is to have different mycorrhizas in the soil, and they learn, and now they just come back for it. You know, it's like, give me 10 bags of Bumper Crop, where, you know, in the early days it was like, I'll take one bag, I've got, you know, 500 square foot. And it's like at least you'll take one. But now we're selling it by the truckload, and it's important because they can't get it anywhere else. You know, our brothers in arms, our other Master Nursery garden centers that are close to me. I mean, we do get along and we do help one another, but just to have a product that they can't get in Depot, they can't get in Lowe's, and now, honestly, that some of the hardware co-ops are becoming competition because they've had to deal with the same thing that we have to deal with. So it's a unique product that really, really works. It has we always, our sales line is, it has everything, including the kitchens. So
yeah,
it's got it all.
It's an interesting soil because we did it for Master Nursery. We changed the recipe. We made it a much more biologically diverse when we did that. Using compost as a base, it's been a soil that has impacted people's lives in the way that they garden. And it's great to be able to have a controlled product that drives traffic to local retailers. And we're very proud of that. We're also proud of the way it performs. I'm just thinking over time, as you have people come back, have success, and when you started your store in 1988, now it's 2022. How different are the consumers now? How different are the questions? Is there more knowledge, less knowledge? What are you seeing?
It actually is less knowledge of plant material, less knowledge of products that are available. The way that products are marketed to them, it's been dumbed down so much that they have a name that they're looking for rather than what's the active ingredient or what are they trying to control. It's almost as general as like, let me have the bug killer for the garden. It's like, well, do you want organic? Do you not want? And it's, those labels have gotten so that you really don't know, what the customer is asking for, and you've got to kind of drill it down. And honestly, sometimes the customers get a little impatient, but they realize that the garden centers, the independent garden centers, have the expertise and will solve their problems. Not just, so many gardeners I know have gone to Depot or Lowe's and they haven't gotten the actual right product in their hands because some guy from lumber came over to help fill out the seasonal section, and he just said, I don't really know, but this looks like it.
So, Len, before we had our technical difficulties, we were talking about new gardeners. I was kind of thinking, what do you see? They don't seem to know as much, like that core group from years ago that kind of grew up in the soil. Now they're less knowledgeable. Right. How do you have to change to help them to be able to understand gardening?
Rule number one is don't embarrass them, don't intimidate them, don't make them feel stupid. You've got to be very patient and lead them by the hand. Let them understand that we're part of the group, like we're learning constantly. So trying to figure out all these things is pretty hard. And that when everything's new, we're here to give them the information that they need to know, to learn, to get that expertise. And experience is the best teacher. The folks here, they all are genuine. You met Julio Zamora. He is an amazing man, and in many ways, and that he'll get so excited that like if a millennial comes in or younger, that they'll run into the office and say, we just had somebody in, they've never been gardening before, and he gets them all the things. And I've walked by, and it's not a sales technique, but it's true passion for gardening. He'll go to bumper crop and say, no, you need this. You need this. This isn't an option. You need this. I was like, wow. I mean, he is amazing. And that they don't understand, and God forbid they come in and they say, give me some dirt. It's like, oh no. And we explain to them why it improves their soil, and it also gets their plants accustomed to their soil, and that all of the benefits, whether it's that, and I'm standing in front of the acid soil. I mean, to me, if you're planting azaleas or rhododendrons or anything, this is what people should get. Because again, bumper crop, yes, it's an excellent product, but azaleas and rhododendrons like it a little more acidic. And I believe the pH within bumper crop is pretty neutral. Is that correct?
Yeah, that is correct. Yes.
Yeah. And that there's a whole product line at Coast of Maine where it's specialty soils. And I just love that.
Yeah.
So I can sell rose soil, vegetable soil.
And so, you know, the bumper crop certainly has been used to grow a lot of things. It does have more of a neutral pH. Acid loving plants, obviously, they like a more acidic pH. So the plant is going to be able to uptake the nutrients in a different range than with the bumper crop. So it does make a difference.
Right, right. And it opens people's eyes to understanding. It's like, oh, this plant needs something different than that plant needs, rather than treating them all the same. And especially the days, I mean, you remember the days of, let me have 10-6-4, let me have 5-10-10, 5-10-5. You know, I'm going to use that. We still have some old timers that insist. They want, it's like, okay, all right, remember, follow it up, because if we get a few hard rains, it's gone. You know, so, but those days are coming to an end. So,
well, it's that other piece that happens with us in talking to the younger generation. Now it is organics. There's not synthetic fertilizers that are pushed the way they used to be.
Right.
Now it's more about setting biology in your soil and letting that break down to feed the plants naturally. So the idea of the 10-10-10s and the higher numbers on the NPK,
right.
That's when you were feeding your plants and not letting them feed themselves. And the runoff had issues too. So I do think that younger people kind of get that more.
They do.
Practices. So there's something that you can talk to them about. And do you get more people? I'm assuming more people are saying, hey, what goes in this soil? How is it made? Do you get those questions?
We do, and a lot of people like, what's OMRI? I don't understand what that is. And we explain that designation. The one thing, our fastest growing demographic is really from 24 to 30. It's amazing on how many younger people we have. And the reason is Home Depot was their parents' store.
Sure.
And they actually feel a loyalty to the independent. We thank you for that. I mean, it's so important, because, you know, I had a gentleman that was here that, you know, he worked at a garden center when he was young, and he was saying, like, you know, there aren't any places to go anymore. And that we're getting that younger generation that's going to fortify my next generation. So hopefully that continues.
So what, for you personally, why do you continue in the business? What is it that you enjoy most about the business?
There's sometimes I ask myself several times throughout the course of the spring, but why do I do it? There's nothing better than when you put together a collection of plants for a customer with the right soil, and it comes all together, and they come back so excited after they've installed them and show you pictures. We just did a project in Camden it's a Goodwill thing where we helped a school plant a vegetable garden and brought 30 bags of bumper crop in, and my son was there, and we were tilling up the soil, and of course Julio was there, and he talked to the kids about gardening, and everybody was excited. I mean, and that's why we do it. The next generation of gardeners, the teacher that we talked with, you know, she leaned over to me and she said, you know, I asked, you know, the kids, where do beans come from? And, you know, most of the kids said it was from a can. You know, they just don't know. They don't know, and that they're going to learn. They're going to learn.
There's just because you mentioned it, we do something that we call our Growing Good program. That's what these kids behind me represent. And part of what we do at Coast of Maine is that we connect the local garden center with the local school garden. We donate 10 bags of soil through that program to the school through the garden center to be able to get the school connected to the garden center, purchase other products from the garden center because they were able to get some Coast of Maine soil at no cost. So, you know, I love that program. I think it's the best thing we do, and that same sense of excitement is what we feel all over the place. So keep doing that, and anything that we can do to help you out with that, that's awesome. And tell me quickly, just because we're there, the Zoom is giving me the indication that we have about 5 minutes left. So your son, he's working with you.
Yes, he is.
And so tell me, he obviously fell in love because the family had it.
Well, yeah, I mean, they weren't too crazy when my kids were in elementary school and I was making them label plants. Yeah. They didn't like that too well. But my son Carl, he's 26, and he loves the nursery and is doing landscape design and takes care of nursery perennials, and just loves plants. Not too long ago, I said, "Where did you get the variegated monstera from?" And so I paid $200 for the cutting. That's my boy. So, but it's a passion for plants, and he sees what me and his mom have done, and how we've dedicated ourselves to, you know, we often call bloomers our firstborn, you know, to sometimes, but it's our family's world revolved around the garden center's needs, and it's what every other independent garden center does. You know, you have to, and that he enjoys the fact of being an independent, you know, not having to, you know, bring in stuff that somebody else tells you, well, unless it's me, bring in things that you're forced to bring in because it's on a planogram or because it's, you know, time to shift that department over. That can make independent decisions on what growers to buy from and what soils to carry. You know, carry the best soils, not the cheapest soils that we make the most money on. We carry the best soil, and that's it. And, you know, sometimes we get, oh, well, bloomers is expensive. And I'm just like, well, yeah, we are, but we also know that your plants will live. You know, you can keep trying with other soil and other things, but by the time you realize it, you know, you maybe consider yourself a brown thumb or just disheartened that you don't even want a garden at all. So there's a difference. That's independence that, you know, we want to give the best product.
So when we talk about this, we talk about it all the time too. Our soil costs more. There's a reason for it. It costs more to make. It can take many, many months to make a bag of our soil, the compost breakdown. So, and it does have a positive impact on the plants. And then your plants, I always think about the care the garden centers give their plants. You seem to have passionate people. I mean, can you talk about that care of your plants when they come in? Is there something that makes your garden center stand out in that way, and taking care of the plants once they get there, as well as the selection?
Well, certainly when the plants come in, you know, I think people think they grow on the racks that they grow off on, but we get them off as quick as possible and give them airspace, and actually through our irrigation system, we do run a light liquid feed on any of the plants that are not deemed organic. Anything that's deemed organic gets just straight water, and gets organic granular fertilizer. And we just keep them healthy so that they're ready to go as soon as they hit the soil of our customer. And that's what really matters, is having healthy plants that are taken care of, that we know how they grow, we know where they grow. And it's just something where we help the customers to buy the right plant for the right spot. rather than, oh, look, this is pretty. And it turned out to be a tropical and they wonder why it died. And it's important for us to make the next generation of gardeners. So teaching is big.
I think you just answered my next question, but one of the things that I like to ask garden center owners and employees is that, if you're out having a beer with an acquaintance or a friend and you're just having a casual conversation, what's the short story on why somebody should come to Bloomers to purchase plants and soil?
I have a friend where I'm his personal horticulturist. So when we meet, it's like, how the kids, okay, I have this plant, I have this weed, but the idea is that to get success, don't sell what they need and make sure that each customer knows exactly what they need, not just the easiest thing. It's not just, don't just give them a insecticide, make sure that they understand how it works. Don't just give them a fertilizer, make sure that they know that there's a granular that's a slow release and a liquid fertilizer that's a quicker release, that they have to be done more often. Like I started with, so many products and so many things have been dumbed down, like the STEP program that has, like, almost everybody has a STEP program, and I actually see some pulling away from it where it doesn't address it. They keep taking things out of it, like an insect control that used to be in it to keep the price the same.
Yeah.
But they still need the insect control. So 4 steps is not enough. It's just not enough. So we give the person who comes to Bloomer just exactly what they need to solve their problem. So
that's awesome. Hey, so Len, I'm gonna have to let you go. We just have your name up here again, and we're getting cut off. But I really appreciate you taking the time to talk to us. We'll put this together. And we'll put this on the Coast of Maine site. Thank you for being one of our garden centers, and thank you for promoting Coast of Maine and doing what you do.
Well, I'll tell you what, everybody support your independent garden center, because they need your support and they deserve it. And you'll never have more beautiful gardens than if you just rely on them to guide you. That's the key.
I agree 100%, man. Have a great day.
All right, Cameron. Thank you.
Thank you.